Hello everyone, this is your boy coming to you with a video in response. It's actually a response to a question that someone asked me on one of my previous YouTube videos. This one here, Razer Tartarus V2 review that I made back in July 4th. But this is for you, Bloodseed, shout out. I'm going to put this on my response that I was about to type to you here. But you were asking about the function keys and number pad, if those things can be mapped to the Razer Tartarus V2. And technically they can. If you're going for a specific function, which I'm going to sort of outline for you here. You have a 60% keyboard, so do I. I sold my TKL, I made so much money on it, or I sold it for enough money that when I got this, which was currently on sale for an absolute steal, I bought it off the used market. Someone who was a keyboard enthusiast, just, I guess they bought something really nice and they wanted this gone. I was the lucky recipient. Everything works. I love it. But this is a AN Pro 2 keyboard. And the function that we're going to go for here is the delete function, which is this key. And to gain access to it, we have to hold down function, click that, and we're pretty much good to go. Open up your Razer Synapse software. That's the first thing you're going to want to do. And you're basically going to be faced with this screen. And we're going to map this to the up on the directional pad. This is the hard way to do it, but I'm just going to show you that it is possible, okay? When you go under macro, you don't have any macros, so you're going to have to configure a macro. This is where you create one. When you create one, you record it. And we're just going to record this keystroke that we're looking for. We're trying to enable this function of deleting. So we record 3, 2, 1, and that's it. We have it recorded. So it records as number delete. Okay? Now, I want to point something out to you as well, which is, it's a bit of a disclaimer, and it's that there's many different manufacturers that make 60% keyboards, so I don't know if it will be the same for anybody else, but when I did this is my first time setting up macro keys, and what I found was that pressing these buttons on is Shift, Window, Function, and Control on the right. What AnPro has basically done they've basically given arrow keys here. So when you tap it or double tap these keys, they work as arrows. So I can go, if I press Shift here, I'll just show you on the actual pad here. When I press Shift, I go up a line. If I press the window key, I go down a line, and I just have to tap it. I can go left, right, with control and function, but they've essentially baked in arrow keys right here just to give you a bit more versatility, which is awesome. So for whatever reason, if it doesn't work for you because your keyboard is different, I cannot guarantee, but I'm just showing you that with my 60% keyboard layout, I was able to do this and it worked out well. So moving on, we're going to delete this macro. We have our macro here recorded, okay? And you also needed a key from the number pad recorded, so we're going to record that here. And we're just going to go for Mambo number 5. That's it. And that's how it's recorded. And we stop. So we got 2 macros that we've made. And we're going to go back here. We're going to click here, go for number 1. And for number 1, we go to macro. Macro 1 shows up. We're going to have it play once because we're just trying to get it to delete something. So save. Then we go over down here, and we go under macros, and we go under macro 2 from Mambo number 5, and we go save. Let's try down some keys here as well. So we're going to macro 1, save. Go into here, do macro 2, and we're going to save. You'll have to excuse me because I'm holding my camera by hand. This is off of my phone, so apologies in advance if the quality is not the greatest. Let's move on. Now that we have these things recorded, I have a notepad set up here. So typically in a Microsoft Word document or a notepad or anything like that, when you want to highlight some text and delete it, you could technically press backspace and achieve the same effect. But you can also press delete, which I'm going to do here. Bam, and it's gone. So let's write some more junk. And moment of truth, when we press up on the directional pad, bam, it's gone. And when we press down on the directional pad, which is supposed to be number 5, bam, 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 it's gone. So that works. Let's try another line of junk. If I press this button that I assigned, it should show up as 5. So it works. If I show the one on the bottom, which is supposed to delete, I will highlight some text and click it. And that text is gone. So it works. I think the one thing that you should sort of pay attention to is when you're making the actual macros. And the reason is because I've never really made macros before, apart from trial and erroring. Excuse me, I shouldn't have made that a verb, but through trial and error, I wasn't sure about how to make macros, and sometimes I wasn't able to get things recorded properly, and I think that was just more human error. But in any capacity, you see here that when you're making a macro, it not only records the button press, but it also records the button release. And you can see that by these arrows here. It goes down. Let me just get that to zoom. There we go. It goes down and then goes up. And that's a release. Same thing with macro 2. Goes down and then goes up. And that's basically my response time. So, going back. Technically, yes, you can record number pads here and functions. To get a little bit a simpler effect, you can go to keyboard functions here, go to other key recording, and you can go, I don't know if modifier, you can have something be a modifier. Oh, wow. But you can basically, anything on a normal large keyboard you can have set up for this particular button. So on the number pad, we're going to add this as number 7. And the one that we're going for is mouse number 1. So that used to be the delete function. So we'll set that at 7. And obviously whatever is working here is going to work on these keys as well. So it's nothing for you to really stress over. But the macro was the more complicated way of doing this. Now that you know that you could set this up as a keyboard function, it's another option that you have as well. But I can go over here, and instead of having it as a macro, I can set up a keyboard function, and instead of a key recording or an alphanumeric, which is any one of the, alphabet letters, or function like F1 to F whatever, I can put it as a number pad as well. So again, we'll have it as number 3. So that's going to be number 3. That's going to be number 7. If we open this up here, go down a line, pressing up should give us 7. Oh yeah. And then immediately after that should be 3, baby. So if I go back to your question here, just to make sure that I understand exactly what you were asking me, the function keys, I'm assuming that you meant F1 to 12, or an actual function like delete and page up and page down. You can do it. And you can do it with no problem through the Razer Synapse software. Again, as I said, you can do it as a macro. But if you don't, for whatever reason, have a macro option to, let's say, record F1 to F12, you can go to keyboard function, go for the function that you're looking for, or the navigation that you're looking for, or the number pad that you're going for, and choose any one of the options that they have here. The software is obviously a must to be able to do this, but there you have it. You can map this, any one of these directions, this button, this scroll wheel, and these buttons to any one of those functions. The macro way was just my way of making an overly complicated answer to your solution, but again, there was also a simpler way as well. So I hope you liked the video. I do apologize for my rambling, but please like, comment, and more than anything, subscribe. I am looking for constructive criticism, so if there's any way that I can improve on these videos, anybody, everybody, please let me know. Love you all. Take care of yourself during this tumultuous time. Don't get sick, and enjoy life, because we only got one. So stay frisky, take it easy, and I will see you later.